Hey everyone, welcome to my Mind Your Health podcast. Today I want to talk to you guys about what happens when life throws a wrench in your plans. Because I don't know about you, but I've often thought that I could not handle what was happening, especially in the last 2 years since COVID lockdowns. So many things have shifted in my life. I had a severe health crisis that I'll share more and more as I feel more comfortable sharing. In the midst of all the chaos and all the unknowns, inevitably, as I look back, things always work out. I believe for the better when such obstacles do pass. So, this is really for those of you who are going through some things in your lives who really need better direction, clarity, focus, or like a complete reset in your lives. Because for me, having experienced a health crisis at a young age, to go through competitive education, through all my schooling, to a divorce, becoming a single mom, and a crippling health crisis that literally knocked me down on my knees, I feel I had a fair share of life obstacles to gain some wisdom finally. But it wasn't until recently that I finally got it. Some people, I think, they say some people are late boomers, right? And I believe I'm one of those people. And I can't help but to feel, because of all the miracles that had to happen to allow me to speak to you in this way here today, I really feel authentically, really in truth, so thankful to be here. And all I want to do is share with you what it really takes, especially when life throws a wrench in your plans. Because as this year ends, I look back to how much I've had to overcome physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And I really had a lot of resistance to a lot of these things. I've never been a soft person per se, or a weak person, or emotional person. Because on the outside, I was so trained from an early age, keep your tears in, don't look weak, and just keep going and do the next best thing. And I think that just kind of kept me going, especially when I felt weak and vulnerable. I can just swallow my tears down and just keep chugging along. But I had to learn to ask for help and open sincerely my heart to embrace and accept the love all around me fully in the past year. And it brings tears to my eyes to know how much love was there all along, but I refused to see it. Because when you're sick, you become vulnerable. In that vulnerable state, fear consumes you, literally, and nothing productive happens from that place of fear. Because I was truly filled with unresolved emotions, full of anxiety, fear, resentment, anger, shame, and guilt. And it is in letting go and surrendering that I've come through to the other side, not quite all the way, but I must say that it was truly a humbling experience. Because as a healthcare practitioner and a lupus patient for more than half of my life, I've learned that healing has more to do with handling your life challenges and having better perceptions and shifting your beliefs than the thick sickness itself. That sickness is a result of undigested emotions that are rooted in deeply ingrained beliefs that we all tend to hold that perpetuate the cycle of suffering. And I was truly sick and tired of the cycle of suffering. And I've been feeling this way for so long, even before I got sick in the last year. Unless we take a good look within ourselves, not outside of us, but good look within ourselves and hold that container for ourselves and commit to changing ourselves, nothing else will ever change. because I know many of you guys are struggling with various life circumstances, especially after COVID, right? Whether whether it's broken relationships, health crisis, lost income, lost job, or a death of a loved one. Many of you are lost in the aftermath of a worldwide pandemic that literally affected every single one of us. We can pretend to be well by doing all the things and mimicking what everybody else is doing. But if you're like most, you're sick and tired of the hamster wheel of suffering and all the doing and the busyness of it all, where the same things are repeated over and over again. Because as a species, we're called to be more. And if you can be honest with yourselves, all you want is to find the spark and motivation to move forward and are fed up with the social agenda to have us thinking and wanting the same things. The things that we don't even know if it's what we want. Because I realize that many of us suffer from self worth or lack of self worth. And that's truly what I've seen in the last 25 years of my clinical career. Our self worth is tied to the title we hold in our career, in our lives. It can be the number on the scale, performance review, your grades that you get in school, external validation, or something impossible, whether it's beauty standards or life standards set by the world. And it wasn't even something that you set for yourself, it's just something impossible. You told yourself that that's what you have to strive for. At least that was for me. And I'm seeing all around me as I treat a lot of my patients that that's what I'm seeing at the core. Because false limiting beliefs that keep us stuck no longer serves us. And it is in letting go of those false limiting beliefs and recognizing with what they are that we can really truly begin to heal ourselves. Because as we look ahead, it's time to own our health, our future, and relationships first with ourselves so that we can extend that to create the life of our dreams. And that includes all your health endeavors. Life threw the biggest wrench in my life in the past year, and the suffering and the pain were drawn out literally for over a year as I experienced a slow and fast decline in my health to where I just couldn't show up for my loved ones. And no matter how much I knew, nothing worked. Not the experts, not the best doctors, not the treatments, not the diets, not the supplements. Nothing worked, literally. I was stripped down to ground zero. I had to go deep within myself to find myself. And I didn't know it at the time. But as everything crashed, I had to literally let go of all the impossible expectations and the false sense of control over my life. I was hospitalized 3 times, utterly dependent on the medical system, and experienced firsthand just how broken the system was. And during the health crisis, my fear was letting everyone down around me. That was my priority, and that was my most fearful experience. My 2 boys, my spouse, my parents, employees, and patients that I was serving. But I was forced to focus on myself and focus on getting well. So the journey to health and recovery required me to let go of all the external expectations because I literally had no control and my false sense of control that I never had in the first place. My recovery wasn't about finding the right doctor, expert, treatment, diet, supplement, or the medications or anything I could do. It required me to meditate, move my body when I didn't feel like it, and decide to nurture my aches and pains through my willingness to recover myself. It required an internal shift. It brought me back to exploring myself in a way I never have. In fact, I was so forced to do this because there was no other choice. I learned to love, respect, and honor myself in ways I never had. I had to learn to quiet my inner voice, constantly criticizing, judging, and berating myself. I needed to finally learn to find my self worth in who I am, not who I was striving to be or who I needed to be or who the world needed to be. Those were all the false limiting beliefs that I was holding on to. Then and only then was I able to nurture my body back to health. That was the first thing that I realized. And I'm sharing this with you to ensure you understand that underneath all the pretense of what wellness, health, and success might look like, something even more profound needs to be addressed. That is you at the core. And as we look ahead to 2023, I hope you intuitively feel the tug in your heart to finally allow you to stop the BS of looking outside of you for answers. After the calamity, we can finally come home to ourselves by owning our health and our lives. And that starts with you owning your body and your mind. Because healing doesn't come from everything you do, like treatments, medications, supplements, diets, or exercise. Healing happens from you surrendering to what is, accepting the circumstances and the willingness to unfold or willingness to allow things to unfold without resistance. Because sometimes doing everything can get in the way of connecting to your higher self. Because doing all the things from a place of fear will only lend itself to creating more of the same. Unless you elevate yourself to higher consciousness and allow your heart and mind to do what it does best, which is creating harmony and balance within, nothing you aim to do with your head, with your intelligence, will suffice. What we need isn't more knowledge. We need more soul purpose, coming back to ourselves in a way that we've never really had to before. And this is really for those of you who are down on your knees, are at a loss for what to do next. That only to repeat the things that you know how to do, you know deep in your heart that it'll produce the same results like you've always gotten before. I need you to understand that health allows you freedom to live your life and fulfill your destiny. That health is really a privilege to protect and guard. To be free from the shackles of your past is what your health requires. And really the shackles of your past, to be free from it, you need to heal once and for all and not repeat the past. And in order to do that, you must learn to surrender, accept, and allow. And as simple as that sounds, it can be hard. So path to healing is the path to yourself. And I found truly in the 25 years of didactic studies, certifications and experiences and treatments that I've gotten, the best way to get there is the self-healthcare system, where you take full responsibility for your healing. And that's what I call functional yoga medicine. If you haven't listened to our last podcast episode on why functional medicine in the last week's podcast, I highly recommend you to listen. Click the link in the bio for more. And I also want to let you know that I'm leading a Setting Your Intention workshop to welcome the new year, to reset your life and your health once and for all. It's going to be a transformative experience that I will take your mind and body through. So I want you to click the link below to sign up today, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye, and really always shift your thoughts to a place of gratitude, especially when you feel like you're being consumed with fear. It just takes simple awareness to your breath, just to shift your thoughts. Not heavy lifting at all. It's just quieting your mind and letting go. It's simple. Surrender, accept, and allow. Bye, you guys, and I'll see you guys all next week.